Chat. I was about to say good morning, but it's not the morning. It's afternoon. Good afternoon, chat. Good afternoon, core. How y'all doing? Today is day 31. We've officially finished a full month of the 1 year Bible. We've officially finished a full month of the 1 year Bible. Let's clap it up. 31 days in a row. 31 days in a row. 31 days in a row. Officially have completed a full month of the 1 year Bible. 31 days in a row. Now, today's reading is going to come out of yeah. Today's reading is going to come out of I'll turn to the wrong page. Boom. Here we go. Exodus 12:14 through 13, verse 16. And Matthew 20:29 through 21, verse 22. Psalms 25:16 through 22. And in Proverbs 6:12 through 15. And before we get into the word, right, there's this little text at the very top, right? I'm going to read this real quick. It says, it's from Exodus 13:3. Today the Lord has brought you out by the power of his mighty hand. Today the Lord has brought you out by the power of his mighty hand. Exodus 13:3. Okay, so getting into our reading today, right? It's coming from Exodus 12:14 to 13, verse 16. I'm going to go ahead and get started. So this is the day to remember, each year from generation to generation. You must celebrate it. What's up, Skittles? She holds the flowers to her chest. You coming in with the quotes? You coming in with quotes 2 days in a row, right? Okay. So I'm should I sign you? Should I sign you to the label? Should I sign you to the label? This is the day to remember each year from generation to generation. You must celebrate it as a special festival to the Lord. This is a law for all time. For 7 days, the bread you eat must be made without yeast. On the first day of the festival, remove every trace of yeast from your homes. Anyone who eats bread made with yeast during 7 days of the festival will be cut off from the community of Israel. On the first day of the festival, and again on the seventh day, all the people must observe an official day for holy assembly. No work of any kind may be done on these days, except in the preparation of food. Celebrate this festival of the unleavened bread. For I will remind you that I brought your forces out of the land of Egypt on this very day. This festival will be a permanent law for you. Celebrate this day from generation to generation. The bread must be made without yeast from the evening of the 14th day on the first month until the evening of the 21st day of that month. During those 7 days, there must be no trace of yeast in your homes. Anyone who eats anything made with yeast during this week will be cut off from the community of Israel. These regulations apply to both foreigners living among you and the native-born Israelites. During those days, you must not eat anything made with yeast. Wherever you live, eat only bread made without yeast. Then Moses called all the elders of Israel together and said to them, go pick out a lamb or a young goat from each of your families, and slaughter the Passover animal. Drain the blood into a basin. Then take a bundle of hyssop branches and dip it into the blood. Brush the hyssop across the top and the sides of the door frames of your houses, and no one may go through that door until morning. For the Lord will pass through the land to strike down the Egyptians. But when he sees the blood on the top and sides of your door frame, the Lord will pass over your home. He will not permit his death angel to enter your house and strike you down. Remember, these instructions are a permanent law that you and your descendants must observe forever. When you enter the land the Lord has promised to give you, you will continue to observe the ceremony. Then your children will ask, what does this ceremony mean? And you will reply, it is a Passover sacrifice to the Lord, for he has passed over the houses of the Israelites in Egypt. And though he struck the Egyptians, he spared our families. When Moses had finished speaking, all the people bowed down to the ground and worshipped. So the people of Israel did just as the Lord had commanded through Moses and Aaron. And that night at midnight, the Lord struck down all the firstborn sons in the land of Egypt, from the firstborn son of Pharaoh, who sat on his throne, to the firstborn son of the prisoner in the dungeon. Even the firstborn of their livestock were killed. Pharaoh and all his officials and all the people of Egypt woke up during the night, and loud wailing was heard throughout the land of Egypt. There was not a single house where someone had not died. Pharaoh sent for Moses and Aaron during the night. Get out, he ordered. Leave my people and take the rest of your Israelites with you. Go and worship the Lord as you have requested. Take your flocks and herds as you said and be gone. Go but bless me as you leave. All the Egyptians urged the people of Israel to get out of the land as quickly as possible, for they thought we will all die. The Israelites took their bread, dough before yeast. They took their bread, dough before yeast was added. They wrapped the kneading boards in the cloaks and carried them on their shoulders. And the people of Israel did as Moses had instructed. They asked the Egyptians for clothing and articles of silver and gold. The Lord caused the Egyptians to look favorably on the Israelites, and they gave the Israelites whatever they asked for. So they stripped the Egyptians of their wealth. That night, the people of Israel left Ramses, and started for Succoth. There were about 600,000 men, plus all the women and children. A rabble of non-Israelites went with them, along with the great flocks and herds of livestock. For bread they baked flat cakes from the dough without yeast they had brought from Egypt. It was made without yeast because the people were driven out of Egypt in such a hurry they had no time to prepare the bread or other food. The people of Israel had lived in Egypt for 430 years. In fact, it was on the last day of the 430th year that the Lord forces left all the land. On this night, the Lord kept his promise to bring his people out of the land of Egypt. So this night belongs to him, and it must be commemorated every year by all the Israelites from generation to generation. Then the Lord said to Moses and Aaron, "These are the instructions for the festival of Passover. No outsiders are allowed to eat the Passover meal, but any slave who has been purchased may eat it if he has been circumcised. Temporary residents and hired servants may not eat it. Each Passover lamb must be eaten in one house. Do not carry any of this meat outside, and do not break any of his bones. The whole community of Israel must celebrate this Passover festival. If there are foreigners living among you who want to celebrate the Lord's Passover, let all their males be circumcised. Only then may they celebrate the Passover with you like any native-born Israelite. But no uncircumcised male may ever eat the Passover meal. This instruction applies to everyone, whether a native-born Israelite or a foreigner living among you." So all the people of Israel followed all the Lord's commands to Moses and Aaron. On that very day, the Lord brought the people of Israel out of the land of Egypt like an army. Then the Lord said to Moses, Dedicate to me every firstborn among the Israelites. The firstborn offspring to be born of both humans and animals belongs to me." So Moses said to the people, "This is a day to remember forever, the day you left Egypt, and the place of your slavery. The day you left Egypt, the place of your slavery. Today the Lord has brought you out by the power of his mighty hand. Remember, eat no food containing yeast. On this day in early spring, in the month of Abib, you have been set free. You must celebrate this event in this month each year after the Lord brings you into the land of the Canaanites, Hittites, Amorites, Hivites, and Jebusites. He swore to your ancestors that he would give you this land, a land flowing with milk and honey. For 7 days, the bread you eat must be made without yeast. Then on the 7th day, celebrate a feast to the Lord. Eat bread without yeast during those 7 days. In fact, there must be no yeast bread or any yeast at all found within the borders of your land during this time. On the 7th day, you must explain to your children, I am celebrating what the Lord did for me when I left Egypt. This is an annual festival and will always be a visible sign to you, like a mark branded on your hand or your forehead. Let it remind you always to recite the teachings of the Lord. With a strong hand, the Lord rescued you from Egypt. So observe the decree of this festival at the appointed time each year. This is what you must do when the Lord fulfills the promise he swore to you and to your ancestors. When he gives you the land where the Canaanites now live, you must present all your firstborn sons and firstborn male animals to the Lord, for they belong to him. A firstborn donkey may be brought back from the Lord by presenting a lamb or a young goat in its place. But if you do not buy it back, you must break its neck. However, you must buy back every firstborn son. And in the future, your children will ask you, what does this all mean? Then you will tell them, with the power of his mighty hand, the Lord brought us out of Egypt, the place of our slavery. Pharaoh stubbornly refused to let us go, so the Lord killed all the firstborn males throughout the land of Egypt, both people and animals. That is why I now sacrifice all the firstborn males to the Lord, except that the firstborn sons are always brought back. This ceremony will be like a mark branded on your hand or your forehead. It is a reminder that the power of the Lord's mighty hand brought us out of Egypt. Oh, good morning, bro. I bet. Hey, what's up? What's up, Average Asia? And what's up, Backhand? Okay, now we're getting to Matthew 20, 29 through 21, verse 22. As Jesus and disciples left the town of Jericho, a large crowd followed behind him. Two blind men were sitting beside the road. When they heard that Jesus was coming that way, they began shouting, "Lord, Son of David, have mercy on us." "Be quiet," the crowd yelled at him. But he only shouted louder, "Lord, Son of David, have mercy on us." But when Jesus heard them, he stopped and called, What do you want? What do you want me to do for you?" "Lord," they said, "we want to see." Jesus felt sorry for them and touched their eyes. Instantly they could see. Then they followed him. And as Jesus and the disciples approached Jerusalem, they came to the town of Bethphage, on the Mount of Olives. Jesus sent two of them on ahead. "Go into the village over there," and he said, "and as soon as you enter it, you will see a donkey tied there, with a colt beside it. Untie them and bring them to me. If anyone asks, 'What are you doing?' just say the Lord needs them, and he would immediately let you take them." This took place to fulfill the prophecy that said, "Tell the people of Jerusalem, look, your king is coming to you. He is humble, riding on a donkey, riding on a donkey's colt." The two disciples did as Jesus commanded. They brought the donkey and colt to him, and he threw the garments over the colt, and he sat on it. Most of the crowd spread their garments on the road ahead of him, and others caught branches from trees and spread them on the road. Jesus was in the center of the procession, and the people all around him were shouting, "Praise God for the Son of David. Blessings on the one who comes in the name of the Lord. Praise God in the highest heaven." The entire city of Jerusalem was up in an uproar as he entered. "Who is this?" they asked. And the crowds replied, "It's Jesus, the prophet from Nazareth in Galilee." Jesus entered the temple and began to drive out all the people buying and selling animals for sacrifice. He knocked over the tables of the money changers and the chairs of those selling doves. He said to them, "The scriptures declare, 'My temple will be called a house of prayer,' but you have turned it into a den of thieves." The blind and the lame came to him in the temple, and he healed them. The leading priests and the teachers of religious law saw these wonderful miracles and heard even the children in the temple shouting, "Praise God for the Son of David." But the leaders were indignant. They asked Jesus, "Do you hear what these children are saying?" "Yes," Jesus replied. "Haven't you ever read the scriptures where they say, 'You have taught children and infants to give you praise'?" Then he returned to Bethany, where they stayed overnight. In the morning, as Jesus was returning to Jerusalem, he was hungry, and he noticed a fig tree beside the road. He went over to see if there were any figs, but there were only leaves. Then he said to it, "May you never bear fruit again." And immediately the fig tree withered up. Okay? The disciples were amazed when they saw this and asked, "How did the fig tree wither so quickly?" Then Jesus told them, "I tell you the truth. If you have faith and don't doubt, you can do things like this and much more. You can even say to this mountain, 'May you be lifted up and thrown into the sea,' and it will happen." You can pray for anything if you have faith, and you will receive it. That's kind of interesting. That's kind of interesting, huh? Not gonna lie. Why do you do that to that tree? All right, now Psalms 25, 16 to 22. "Turn to me and have mercy, for I'm alone and in deep distress. My problems go from bad to worse. Oh, save me from them all. Feel my pain and see my trouble. Forgive all my sins. See how many enemies I have and how viciously they hate me. Protect me. Rescue my life from them. Do not let me be disgraced, for in you I take refuge. May integrity and honesty protect me, for I put my hope in you. O God, ransom Israel from all its troubles. O God, ransom Israel from all its troubles." And on Proverbs 6:12 through 15. What are worthless and wicked people like? They are constant liars, signaling their deceit with a wink of an eye, a nudge of the foot, or the wiggle of the fingers. Their perverted hearts plot evil, and they constantly stir up trouble. But they will be destroyed suddenly, broken in an instant beyond all hope of healing. All right, what's going on? I'm not like getting kind of tongue-tied. Like my tongue has been dry for like a week. Very interesting. Okay, slow delivery. So slow delivery. The Israelites were to never forget that it was God who brought them out of slavery. They've been enslaved for 430 years before the Pharaoh let God's people go. Over all those years, there must have been millions of prayers for deliverance. In our high-speed, quick-fix world, it is difficult to pray to God and then wait for his answer. If you're waiting for God to act, keep praying. And remember that it was centuries before freedom came to the Israelites. God does not move at the pace most comfortable for us, but he always moves. I feel like I read that pretty smoothly though, I'm not gonna lie. That was a read voice right there. That was a read voice I've been looking for these past couple readings, I'm not gonna lie. I like that read voice right there. Okay, so slow delivery. The Israelites were never to forget that it was God who brought them out of slavery. They've been slaves for 430 years before Pharaoh let God's people go. Over all those years, there must have been millions of prayers for deliverance. In our high-speed, quick-fix world, it is difficult to pray to God and then wait for his answer. If you're waiting for God to act, keep praying. And remember that it was centuries before freedom came to the Israelites. God does not move at the pace of most comfortable for us, but he always moves. Okay, that's a bar. Okay, that's a bar. Okay, so let's go back over what we read today. So we'll go back over our verses for today, right? So we read from Exodus 12:14 through 13. We read from Matthew 20:29 through 21. Psalms 25:16 through 22. And in Proverbs 6:12 to 15. So from Exodus, for wisdom and clarity. There we go. So from Exodus 12:14 to 13. Do you praise God for the things he's done for you? Exodus 12:14 through 13 is really a parable to ask you. Do you have like time set out for when you praise the Lord? Mr. Core, what's up, bro? What's up? What's up, bro? What's up? What's up, bro? What happened? I'm confused. I feel I'm cool now. What happened? I'm kind of confused. What happened? You're really confused right now? What happened, bro? I'm confused. I'm confused too. You're confusing me too, bro. I'm not gonna lie, you're confusing me too. But give me 1 second to go over these verses. Right? So, from Exodus 12:14 to 13. Um, Exodus 12:14 to 13 is, do you have you don't know what's going on right now? Well, we read it, but I'm going over the scriptures. I'm going over the scriptures in the same way I always do. I ask for wisdom and clarity on what we just read, and then I wait for it. The same thing I always do. Same thing we always do. Right now, this is the time of the stream where I ask for clarity and wisdom. Okay, but for Exodus 12:14 to 13, what we get from this part of the reading today is, do you have? So this is like an altar. You ever heard of like a prayer altar, right? Where you have like an altar to God, right? Or like a bedside table where you put things on to like your Bible or stuff like that, right? Do you have an altar, and do you have a way that you praise God? Do you have a way that you say thank you for everything that God has done for you? Do you have a way that you do that, right? And if you don't have a way to do that, I recommend that you do. And that's what we get from Exodus 12:14 to 13. Um, I ask for clarity and wisdom on that one more time because I stopped in the middle of listening. I stopped in the middle of listening and then I started reading some other stuff. So I kind of like blanked out a little bit of what I was supposed to say there. But do you have do you have a way that you are saying thank you to God? Is really what is it saying? Do you have a way of a way to saying thank you to God for everything He's done for you? Okay, so Matthew 20:29 through 21, verse 22. Matthew 20 is just another faith parable. Um, it's really more so about believing what God says and not what man says, right? Believing what God says that you can do and not what man says you can do. To be honest, I'm not sure if God has ever done anything for me, but he is in the future. I'm sure if you woke up this morning, God did something for you. We're just gonna declare that right now. If you woke up today, Skittles, so God did something for you, because you didn't pass away in your sleep last night. So God for sure has done something for you because you didn't pass away in your sleep last night. And if you don't know anything else to say thank you for, just say thank you for waking up today. just say thank you for waking up today because you didn't have to wake up today. Um, yes, but um, yes, another faith parable. So Matthew 20:29 through 21, verse 22 is another faith parable. And we'll read what Jesus told them, right? Then Jesus told them, I'll tell you the truth. If you have faith and don't doubt, you can do things like this and much more. You can even say to this mountain, may you be lifted up and thrown into the sea, and it will happen. You can pray for anything, and if you have faith, you will receive it. Okay, so I tell you the truth. If you have faith and don't doubt, you can do things like this and much more. You have to believe what God says you can do and not what man says you can do. Man tries to tell you what you can't do. God tells you what you can do. So that's what we're getting from Matthew 20 to 20 Matthew 20:29 through 21. Man tells you what you can't do, but God will tell you what you can do. God says you can do all things. God said you can do all things. So that literally means all things. It literally means all things. I'm gonna start putting that into practice because you may not believe me because I'm so nonchalant about stuff. So I'm gonna intentionally put this into practice, and you guys will see what comes of it in the way that y'all can see it. And I'll tell you what I did after I do it. I'll tell you what God did through me after it's done. It's already done. But I'll tell you about it. I'll tell you about how it happened. I'll tell you about how it happened. But from Matthew 20 to 29, 29 to 21, this is another faith parable. Um, and it is a reminder that man will tell you what you can't do, but God always tells you what you can do, and that is that you can do all things. God tells you can do all things, so don't forget that you can do all things, anything that you can think of. Life is what God did for me. Facts. Life is what God did for you. Psalms. I always feel like Psalms is just somebody like a rapping. I'm not gonna lie. Psalms is always just like somebody rapping. Um, but it's like also a way to talk to God. I also take it as a way to talk to God. That's really how I take that. It's really just always an example of how to talk to God. So if you want a quick run through of how to pray, I would go read Psalms. Psalms is like a straight depiction of how to pray to God. You know, Psalms is like a depiction of how to pray to God. So if you don't know how to pray, I would go read Psalms. I will grab a Bible and just go straight to Psalms. Um, and then when we hop into Proverbs, what are worthless and wicked people like? They are constant liars, signaling their deceit with a wink of an eye, a nudge of the foot, or a wiggle of the fingers. Their perverted hearts plot evil, and they constantly stir up trouble. But they will be destroyed suddenly, broken in an instant beyond all hope of healing. You know, worthless and wicked people, they don't have no backbone for real. Eminem wrote the Psalms, facts. He really, Pen was going crazy. Pen was going crazy. Pen was going crazy. Oh man. But the worthless and the wicked people don't have no backbone for real. So don't listen to them. If you directly counter them, this goes back into I love how they put these together. But if you go back into what we just read, man will tell you what you can't do. And Matthew 20:29, man will tell you what you can't do, but God will tell you what you can't do. A worthless and wicked person will try to tell you what you can't do, right? But God always tells you that you can do all things. So why would you listen to those people? Why would you listen to those people that tell you what you can't do? They have no power. Them using the word can't is an immediate sign to them not believing in their power, right? When people are always using the word can't, then you can immediately tell that they don't believe in their own power, right? So why would you listen to them? So let's remember what Matthew told us, Matthew 20:29 through 21. That this parable is about knowing that people will tell you what you can't do, but God will always tell you what you can do. God will always tell you what you can do. And what did God say you can do? All things. God said you can do all things. Jesus just said, if you tell that mountain to go jump in the lake, that mountain will go jump in the lake. How about you go outside and you start practicing telling mountains to jump in lakes? That's a joke, but like at the same time, like, if you do it, tell me, let me know. But if you do it, actually tell me, let me know. Because like, you know, also don't tell anybody else though, because they're probably going to take you away. You know, I would hate for you to get taken away. But Proverbs, what are worthless and wicked people like? They are constant liars. So the worthless and wicked people from this combination of scriptures that we're reading together, right, is the people that will tell you what you can't do. Those are the worthless and wicked people. Those are people that tell you what you can't do. Don't believe those people, because people who always use the word can't don't believe in themselves. They don't believe in their power. If they're always constantly using the word can't, then they don't believe in themselves, nor do they believe in their power, right? But God will tell you, does the most unreligious stuff just to prove people wrong. Facts. Jesus just does ridiculous things for no reason at all whatsoever, just to be like, he really is like kind of like petty a little bit, right? He is kind of like petty, huh? Like a little bit. Like, I'm not gonna lie, just a little bit. But so why not just listen to God? Because God is telling you can do all things, right? God is literally saying you can do all things. It doesn't matter what people around you constitute as a thing that you are able to do. That doesn't matter. You don't need to prove the facts, because God already told you. You don't need to prove nothing to nobody. But but like dang, I forgot where I was. I lost my train of thought. I lost my train of thought. It's pretty funny. But yeah, Jesus and God, Jesus came out here as an example. He's a human example of the fact that we can do all things, right? That what God said we can do, right? God said you can do all things. So Jesus comes out and he does ridiculous things to all these people, not to these people, but for all these people, right? And then he shows them in other ridiculous ways what other things they can do. And then he constantly tells them over and over again, if you have faith, you can do this too. So how about you have faith that you can do something ridiculous? How about you have faith that something that you can that you have thought that you weren't able to do before? How about you have faith that you can do it today? How about you flip the script? How about you become the author? The author and the finisher of your faith. You feel me? God. You feel me? And become the author of your storyline. You feel me? How about you become the author of your story today? Right? How about you become the person who writes your story? How about you decide that life isn't happening to you, that you are happening to it? How How about you flip the script today? How about the script get flipped? You feel me? And I ended up looking stupid. Hey, it was just because you didn't have no faith at that time. God just said, bro, you just have the faith. You just gotta have the faith. Not God, Jesus said. The faith as small as a mustard seed. You feel me? So just have a little bit more faith, right? I've done some crazy things that I will not say on the internet because I don't want people come looking for me. You feel me? But when I've in two different ways. There's ways when I overthought what I was doing and it was like kind of worked, and there's ways where I just let it happen and then it just worked. You say you're not as powerful as Jesus. That's cap. That's cap. Everybody is the same amount, has the same amount of power in them. Nobody is any different than anybody else. Everybody has the same amount of power in them. And there's no tier list of people who have power. That is artificially created by humans. There's an artificial idea made by people. There is no tier level of power. There is no such thing as a tier level of power. I thought you didn't do bad stuff. I don't do bad stuff. What do you mean? Bad stuff is crazy. I'm talking about like healing people. I made a video on my channel a while ago about me healing people. I go into public and then having them play the any, meeny, miny, mo game with me, and then I heal them. And then I ask them how they feel afterwards, and they tell me they feel amazing. I made a video on the channel. I might have privated it. It's probably private now because I private a lot of my videos. But yeah, that's what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about nothing crazy. But there is no such thing as a tier list of like power here. There's only one. There's literally since there's only one God, right? Why do you say it like that? You did some most devious things in your past. It sounded like it might have sounded like it, but I'm not talking about that. I mean, we all had like childhoods. We always did like bad stuff, kind of bad stuff or whatever, right? But there's no such thing as a tier list of power, bro. Everybody is created equally. There's no such thing as a tier list. There's no there's no such thing as a color. There's no such thing as a religion. There's no such thing as any of this stuff. There's no such thing as a tier list of power. Everybody has the same amount of power. It's just about how much you tap into your power. That's it. It's just about how much you tap into it. What you can do. What effort do you put into tapping into your power? How much faith and belief do you have into what you talk about? That is how you pull out more of your natural power. It's a natural thing. It's a normal thing. It's not something bizarre. It's not crazy. It's natural. It's actually normal. I wish people knew this during the slavery days. They did know this. That's how they got freed. How do you think slavery ended? Slavery ended because people they gained more knowledge about their power. Slavery is something that strips you of your knowledge of your power, of the wisdom of the power that you have. That's what slavery does. It will strip you of those things. But there's always still people in those types of things. There's been slaves throughout all times, but there's always been people in those flocks of people that didn't forget that. They never lost that wisdom, and then they free their people. And if they didn't free their people, right, then they would still be slaves. If there were people that weren't still wise and still have the wisdom, then everybody would still be slaves. Every culture that was a slave before would still be a slave today. You feel me? And now there are wise people out here that are trying to do the same thing, but in a different way. Slavery is not the same as it used to be before. You feel me? So it's just different. But like I was just saying, there is no such thing as a tier list of power. Everybody was created equally. Slavery lasted way too long as a black person. I feel like here in Europe and America. That's funny. What's up, Jamie? What's up, bro? But we don't want to hold on to those negative emotions about that type of stuff. That stuff keeps you from getting into your normal natural state, right? Your normal natural state of power, right? So Skittles, I understand, bro. I get crazy looks when I go places. I be getting treated crazy sometimes, but it don't really matter. It don't really matter because I know where my power comes from. It don't come from those people who have got their crazy faces or they got their crazy things that they say. I don't care. Got nothing to do with me. I know if I snap my finger, right, that God will take care of that situation for me. I'm not worried about none of that. I don't care about none of that. I don't care what you got to say. If I snap my finger right now, God gonna take care of you. You see what we did to the Egyptians. I didn't even know God was like that for real. I didn't know God was like that for real. Then I'm reading the Bible and I see what he did to the Egyptians. So I ain't gonna lie. Sometimes when I snap my fingers, I'd be like, "Yo, God, take care of this." I'd be like, "But do it in a nice way." I always say, "But can you do it in like a peaceful way?" I don't want nobody to get hurt. I don't want nobody to get hurt for real. I hope everybody just gains the peace or they gain wisdom to not mess with me no more. That's what I say whenever I ask God to take care of folks. I'm like, just gain. I hope you give them the wisdom to leave me alone. Pretty much, whatever was bothering them, I hope you heal whatever it is so they leave me alone. That's what I ask for. I don't ask for nobody to get done dirty. I don't ask for none of that stuff because that stuff don't got nothing to do with me. I just ask them to leave me alone and whatever bothering them, I hope it ends up all right. You know, because obviously someone was messing with them, and that's why they got some problem with me. Ain't got nothing to do with me though. Ain't got nothing to do with me though. So I don't take it personal. I know everybody got their own stuff going on. It's not personal. You feel me? They got something going on, something wrong with them, and I hope whatever it is happened, what's going on with them, I hope it get fixed. I hope it get fixed because you better leave me alone. Hope it get fixed because you better leave me alone. Oh man, but yeah, but like I'm just gonna keep repeating this. There's no such thing as a tier list of power. It's about your faith, your belief, about what you believe God can do. What do you believe God can do? You feel me? If you believe that God, you have to get rid of. I'm gonna iterate this. You have to get rid of the fact that people, and I'm gonna read this one more time. What are the worthless and wicked people like? Worthless and wicked people are people that tell you what you can't do. Those are worthless and wicked people. People that tell you what you can't do, they are worthless and wicked. Because if they use the word can't, if they're constantly using the word can't, then they don't believe in their own power. They have no faith. They don't believe in their own power. So why would they be able to believe in yours? Why would they believe in your power if they don't believe in their own power? You feel me? It is what it is. Pray for them. You feel me? I pray for you. I hope whatever's bothering you gets fixed. You feel me? That's it. Whatever's bothering you, I hope it get fixed because it ain't got nothing to do with me. It ain't got nothing to do with me. But God said you can do all things. And Jesus came to show us. God sent Jesus down here as a personal show for us to see. Jesus came as a show for us to see the show about what we can do. Now, some people took that the wrong way. They said, "Oh man, I gotta worship this guy because like I couldn't do this." And there were some people that saw it and were like, "Oh, word, Jesus can do that. That means," and he's saying, "I can do it too. Let me go do those same things too." So, what path are you taking? Are you creating a false idol, or are you believing in your power? What are you doing? Are you creating a false idol, or are you believing in your power? Because Jesus came here to show you what you can do, not for you to worship him. He came here to show you, right? Now, and so because God told you can do all things, and now God doesn't like when his people are getting done dirty down here, when people are telling them false things, like telling them what they can't do, right? The worthless and wicked are telling his people what they can't do. So Jesus came here, was sent by God, right? And whatever iteration you want to call it, right? Whatever name you want to give him, he was sent here by God to show us what we can do, not for us to worship this God, not for us to worship any of these other iterations of Jesus, right? Not for us to worship them, but for us to see what we are capable of. You feel me? God said, "Don't create no false idols." So you're not supposed to be worshiping these dudes over here. They were just supposed to be shows. It's like show and tell. It's like school. It's like show and tell. You feel me? We're showing us cool stuff that we can do. Not for us to worship these guys over here, but for us to see what God has showed us that we can do. You feel me? Don't create a false idol. Live in your power. We were supposed to get rid of false idols a long time ago. We were never supposed to have them in the first place. Live in your power. You feel me? Live in your power. And that's it. That's today's reading. That's it. That's what we're going to end today's reading on. Today has been another reading of the 1 Year Bible. Day 31, we finished a full month. Let's clap it up for us. Let's clap it up for us. If you want to stay tuned to more reading, I hope you do. Yeah, I knew that for a while because last year I went to Christian camp. I'm going back this summer too. I can learn about God more too. That's facts. Hey, I hope you're having a great time at your camp, bro. For real, for real. But it's time to live in our power. It's time to know what God said you can do, right? God is in you. He's working through you at all times, right? Yeah, it's happy. It's our 1 month anniversary to the 1 Year Bible. We're a month down. We got 11 more to go. So we got a lot more reading to do, a lot more learning and wisdom to gain. You feel me? But we just getting started. The road, we just getting started. You feel me? Now, it's time for this outro because your boy got other stuff to do. So, I hope y'all have a great one. And it's time to hit this outro. We all got that limitless core, baby. I appreciate you. I might even love you. But I'm for sure glad you woke up today. I do have to slide real quick. I'll be back in a little while, Cielos. I'll be back in like an hour. Hey, thank you for the happy 1 month. I'll be back in like 1 hour to do a different stream, but I gotta do some stuff real quick. But I'm oh, let's do this outro. We all got a limitless core, baby. I appreciate you. I might even love you, but I'm for sure glad you woke up today. And thank you for waking up today. Thank you for joining me today on the stream. Hey, thank you for all of my extremely loyal chat, my extremely loyal gang, my extremely loyal core. You feel me? I mess with y'all the long way. And peace. I'm gonna see y'all later. We gotta go. I got something to do. Peace. Oh, I'm busy in an hour. I'll push it back then. I'll push it back. You give me 2 hours? 2 hours cool? Does that work? That work? I'll push it back. I'll push it back a little bit. But we're about to slide. I hope y'all have a great one. A great, wonderful rest of y'all day. Wonderful rest of y'all day. Wonderful, wondrous rest of your day. All right. Y'all have a good one. Peace.